Hi, teacher. Good morning or good afternoon or good night. I don't know what when will when will when will you see this video? Well, I have some notes in my notebook, so probably I change my view after the camera in the camera and my notebook. So uh, I'm going to talk about my book presentation. Is about Alice in the Wonderland. Yes, it's a classical book. So this book was written by Lewis Carroll. For me, it's a surprise because he was a British mathematician. So uh, it's interesting how a mathematician or a scientific um, make a great fantasies. Uh, well, make a great story. Was written in 1865. And it's all for introduction. So I would like to start talking about the story. So the book has 12 chapters, and the story is well, the story starts with Alice in a dull and boring afternoon. So she was reading a book, so the book was so boring, and suddenly a white rabbit appears running and saying to the kiss. So obviously, that fact caught the attention of Alice. So Alice decide run away by the behind the rabbit, and she fall in a hole, in a rabbit hole. So um so in this point to fall, the endurance of the fall was a lot, a very lot. So in this point, Alice can imagine or have a thoughts like what was doing his cat in this moment. What the name is or his cat? I don't know. Or or thinking about he was doing in his house, in her house, or so things like that. But the point is the fall during a lot. So uh, in this point, I have an opinion. The story or the book was so fictitious and so how do you say? Well, the story is so illogical, and during the story, we have a lot of facts what not don't affect the story. So are very interesting, but don't affect the story. Have a lot of success or things don't affect the story. It's only an imaginative way to tell a story. Well, in this first chapter, at least Alice is suddenly crash on a heap of stick and dry leaves. So she wakes up and watch the panorama and see a little door, and obviously he looks the key and find it, but open the door and see on the and see on the other side of the door and watch a beautiful garden. But Alice was so big to enter to pass the door. So suddenly she saw a crystal bottle, and with how do you say, with a tag um, with the messages, drink me. So Alice is too so intelligent and decides drink the potion or the water. She said tastes like a cake or a full meal, like chicken or chicken and potatoes and something like that. He and she becomes so small, so small, so small, so small. No, 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 so big, so big. She becomes so big, so tall, and starts to cry because now she was so tall, and when she was crying, his tears was so big she made a ocean and a lake with his tears, and in a desperate way found a little box with candies. So and the little box has messages and attack and say hate me, and Alice say, well, if the what do you say, if the bottle of water make me tall, the candies made me small, and yes, he becomes so small, but the ocean that she formed with his tears was so big. So in this ocean, found a mouse. So it is the end of the first chapter. So for the second chapter, we have uh, is Alice swimming in the ocean in the big lake that made. So it was so big that animals was in their lake. One of these animals was a mouse, and Alice decided talk with the mouse and ask for direction or something like that. But probably the mouse they didn't speak English, so she decides start speaking in French, and the mouse respond to the French. So Alice didn't have another best idea that talk about his cat, but the mouse was terrified about the cat. So she did the mouse done mm, did did not talk with Alice because Alice terrified uh, with his cat. Uh, so so uh, uh, the lake have a lot of animals, especially a dodo, uh, and start talk with and Alice decide talk with the dodo, and the dodo guides to the other side of the lake. So now are the dodo and the mouse and Alice, and now they have to find a manner of get dry, and the dodo decides a racer, but the race starts when the dodo says, and finish when the dodo says. So uh, they were running about 30 minutes or something like that, and nobody wants the race. So Alice asked to the mouse and the dodo, who wants to race, who wants to race, and the dodo says everyone wants to race. So it is the things why I say it's so illogical, and so okay, it's a story for kids, so don't have a lot of sense. uh Now, so another highlight was when Alice decided to enter in a house, in the rabbit white house, and she was so small, so entered to the house and decide eat another candy. So she becomes so tall, and she was locked in the house. So the White Rabbit and an alligator, Bill, decide they want to burn the house to liberate Alice, but in intense instance of that, decide that the cat hit the house with rocks, but magically I don't know how the rocks becomes in another candies that becomes to Alice so small again, and she run away out the house. And in this moment is one of the most iconic moments in the history, in the story of in the Alice story. He meets the caterpillar who smoke. So uh, the caterpillar makes a reflection about Alice. Makes Alice to think his about her life, but about her knowledge. So to improve at least that she have a lot of knowledge, she decide tell to the caterpillar a poem. The poem during at least 3 or 4 pages in the book. So I intended the caterpillar only say no, this poem is incorrect. You didn't know, you don't know nothing about nothing. So to the end, the caterpillar give to Alice a pair of mushrooms. One mushroom in one hand makes you make her smile, and in the other hand, another mushroom makes her so big. So she has to try what honey is for become big or taller, while for be more small. So he took both mushrooms and continued with his uh, story, and they so Alice decided to eat the mushroom in the right hand, and that becomes tall, so tall. And Alice is boot. Alice notes that she don't have his legs, her legs, and her arms, and she becomes in a type of snake. So it was so fantastic, fictitious. Well, it's a great story, but in this point of the history is so fictitious. Mm, I remember another point of the story when he becomes so tall. She was saying that he how she was so tall. She think was a great idea send a gift to his feet, so to her feet, like a pair of boots, because he was thinking that her feet no was happy, probably run away and let alone to Alice. So she was thinking and write a card and send by mail to Christmas gift. So have a lot of um, had a lot of fictitious things, but is so imaginative, and in points of the history is really fun. I I I admit I laughed in some things because it was really funny, and thing is the first time I laughed in reading a book, because the book didn't have don't have a lot of sense, so you need to enjoy the story and only read the book, because you if you are waiting for a plot twist or for a great messages, and no, this book didn't have. Well, in occasion, make you think in another things, like who you are, what what do you know about the world, about your knowledge, and make question about that, and that this world is so crazy, because nobody is totally sane. Uh, so is my opinion in this point of the story. So we have the next chapter. He was mm, uh, he ate the other part, the other hand, the other mushroom in his hand, in her hand, and become normally again. But he was stealing. He was still little small. So she was walking and found another house, the Duquesne's house, and this is the house where the white rabbit was looking for. Um, and the rabbit was so out of time about to get in this house, the Duque's house. So Alice decided to enter in this house, and obviously find the Duque's and a chef, a woman chef. So in this point of the story, is so rude for me, because have a lot of of violence of his child, the kid's child, because in the story it talks of smash the baby, and how do you say, and hit the baby when he was crying, and he didn't eat a meal or something like that. But then that baby was a pig. Uh, yes, that baby becomes a pig, because I don't know. The story was that like that. So in this point of the story appears another fundamental character. That was the smiling cat. His name is. Oh yes, she found the Cheshire cat, and the Cheshire cat makes the reflection about the how do you say, the same people and the insane people. So everybody have a lot of have a, a bit of insane, and it is funny. So the cat proposed another decision to Alice, like go to the march hard, or go to the hater, uh, two in two ways. Okay. So she decides go to the left side, and found the march here with the header. So the two ways ends in the same point. The header and the march here, the march here, and drinking tea. I have to say this book have a lot of England and London reference. Probably was hard to understand, especially because the book was writing in an old time, so have a lot of political reference and historical reference about England. So in this point, Lisa admits that Hatter and the March hire, and every time they are drinking tea. Why? Because the Hatter, uh, his 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 watch run away. So now didn't is out of service his watch. So the watch died in the 6 o'clock p.m. and in England is the tea hour. So for the header and the marsh hare, always is tea the tea hour. So have a message that if you make your time your friend and never run away. So the point is view view the positive things and the time how do you say at the time pass fast. Now an example is when you are in a school and you have a hard shift, so you make the positive way and your shift pass running. So make the time your friend is the measures of the header and the march here, and here decide to but in this point at least no cross the door. The door only this story was happening out of the door. So the header, the march higher, and at least decide finally cross the door and found a masterpiece of garden was the Garden of the Queen, the the Heart Queen, like the card. So so she decide walk and meets the Queen and the Duchess. The Duchess is recognized to allies, and in this point of the history, the story. I don't know why, but the Duchess now are so good person, especially when Alice. But was well, I can understand well this part. So now have a have another iconic point of the history is when they have a judge to the hater. The queen decide judge to the hater to steal a cake. But in this point of the story, at least, well, I am missing a part. For me, was so boring or so unnecessary. This meets Mock Turtle and Griffor, but was in this point of the story was a take chapter about the Mock Turtle and the Griffor talking about the school and a lot of subject with another names and with ground facts about history and mathematicals. So and the lobster dance. So I didn't I didn't know. It's not important for the story. So I omitted this part. I'm going to talk about the end of the book. Liz was interviewed with the header because the queen believes that the header is still a cake. But Liz start to grow up because the effect of the potion is passing out, and Alice decide be more mad with the king and raise his voice and make so and do so unpolitical things and and at the end of the book was at the biggest plot twist of the history. Everything was a dream now. At least wake up of his dream, and nobody, and no one of the, no one, nowhere of the story was real. No, everything was a dream, because fell asleep because was so worried. And the things was she was hearing or doing in his dream was because her neighbor is a farmer, have a farm and have a lot of animal farms because the strange sounds and the lake and the Tears Lakes was a simple lake. So was everything was a dream. For my final opinion, is a great book. Now I understand why it's a greatest hit. It's a classical of the literature. And if I recommend, yes, a good experience because you you don't have a logical story. I say that a lot of time that, but because it's illogical, you you need to read more for only for know what is now happening or what the author was thinking about. So yes, what the discovery or what was thinking the author in this moment. So it's a great lullaby. Well, no, no lullaby. It's a great fairy tale. It's a great fairy tale. So it was my big presentation. Thank you for watching.